Hello friends, welcome to EduTap. Today I have with me a very hardworking, a believer in himself kind of guy, Mr. Saket, who has recently cleared SEBI Grade A 2020 exam. If I could find a quote for his attitude, I think the best quote would be that there was never a problem which could defeat hope. So he's a very he's that kind of candidate who has always believed in himself, who has always been hopeful since the day he started his preparation. So I'll give a little introduction about Saket, and then we will start listening to his strategy about SEBI Grade A exam. How did he kept himself motivated? How did he prepare for these exams? All that we will discuss. So Saket is basically from Hyderabad, and he is a CA by profession. Before giving this exam, he also was in CA practice. And Saket, one interesting thing about Saket is that when the initial results came, Saket's name was not in the list because his score was 69.23, but the cutoff was 69.24. So he has just missed that cutoff by 0.01 marks. But I think within few days, Saket received an offer from SEBI through an email that he has to join at their Mumbai office. So Saket, if I am correct, right, you received an email from SEBI directly within few days of the result being announced.
Yes, sir. The results were out on the marks were out on Friday, and I got an email on Monday.
Saket, can you hold your mic a little bit closer to your mouth? Because
yes, sir. So the marks were out on Friday, and my email was on Monday. So within 2 days gap, I got an offer from SEBI asking me to join.
That must have been really a good surprise, because I remember when the result was announced, you called me and you were always hopeful that, sir, would there be any waiting list? Would I get a chance?
Yes.
If somebody leaves it. So when on Monday you received that email, what was your reaction?
Sir, I would start telling my reaction on July 2nd when the final list was out. I always hoped that I would get into SEBI right from the day I have filled in my examination form, and until July 2nd afternoon, I always believed that I would make into SEBI and I would be in Mumbai. I was also planning, I was also hoping, and I thought that my result would be an answer to many. But when I have seen my, the final list, the result itself had been a question to myself instead of an answer to many. So I was again I was very devastated, and I thought my life is over. I went into that extent, and again I had to take courage, and I had again to start calling my previous clients, start seeing for any other alternate job or something. And then again, when the results were out on July 16th, so the marks were out on July 16th, and when I've seen my marks, until then I had not even bothered what was the cutoff. I've seen my marks was 16.23. I just wanted to check what was the cutoff. I thought I'll see by how much margin I have missed out. When I've seen I missed out by 0.01, I was like, oh, not again, because I was already devastated that I don't want to be dull anymore. I just thought I just called you and I've asked you if would there be any vacancy, or sorry, if there would be any chance. And you said if at all there would be a chance, you asked me to wait until October mid, I guess. And you asked me to just keep doing what I was already doing. And to be I don't know what, but I just got a mail directly from SEBI on Monday afternoon. And by seeing it, I was really. And first, when I've seen the SEBI email, I thought there was some mail regarding travel reimbursement. But when I opened the mail, there was this message saying, "Dear Saket, so and so, please, we congratulate you to on becoming SEBI grade officer." I was very much happy, and I don't know even I would be this happy if I had got the result on the first day itself.
Yes.
Because I went through a roller coaster ride. Those 18 days I can never forget in my whole life. Those 18 days from July 2nd to July 19th. I can never forget. Yeah.
That's really good. And I think you've worked really hard for this exam. So I feel really proud of you clearing this exam. You have been given some great one-to-one mentorship also. So I was really hopeful that you would make it, and indeed you made it. So that really makes the whole team at EduTap really happy about your achievement.
Thank you, sir.
Saket, now coming on to the questions related to your sources, your strategy. So what was your primary source of preparation while you were preparing for SEBI Grade A exam?
Sir, when I've actually seen the notification, I saw the notification last year around in April. I thought this is examination, and I thought I would give it a try. But when I've seen the proper syllabus and all, and I've compared the syllabus to last year's syllabus, I thought being a chartered accountant, I would have some edge. Definitely, I would have some edge. And my only pain point I thought would be the paper on phase one. And also there was this clear thing mentioned in the notification stating that 30 marks in paper one and 40 marks in paper two would suffice. I just believed that would be real, and I just started to study. But again, as I was already working, I just needed some ready-made material, which was already cooked, to be precise. And EduTap, I have a younger sister who was already a student of EduTap. She suggested me EduTap. And while taking EduTap, I've seen only 2 points. I've considered 2 points. One, definitely ready-made materials for my technical subjects, and number two, definitely a platform where mass crowd would compete. Because if I want to know my scenario, my place where I would be standing in a lot, then I would definitely need to compete with others. Because as I said, if it's a chartered accountant examination, then I don't have to compete with anyone because I don't expect any rank. I just want me to get that examination. So out of 100, if I just see if I'm getting 50 plus, then it's fine. I don't have to compete with anyone. But since SEBI is a competitive examination, I really wanted a platform where I would really know on a real-time basis where I'm standing at. So, as my sister said, that EduTap is the largest provider among students. So, I've subscribed to EduTap. Yes, sir. So, and EduTap is only primary source because I thought I would be taking mock tests also from another source. But to be very honest, completing EduTap itself was a pain for me. I couldn't even complete EduTap, the whole EduTap course. So, I couldn't get time for any other mock tests also.
So your primary source was EduTap.
Not only primary, but the only source was EduTap.
The only source. Okay, good. So Saket, one question that comes to my mind is though you said that no, you subscribe to course because you were seeing two main benefits: saving of time and then getting to know about your real self, where do you stand. But
Yes.
being a CA, did you never think that I can prepare by myself, because many of the CAs have been able to clear this exam through self preparation? Did that thought came into your mind?
So definitely being a CA, I would definitely say that I can actually prepare on my own because all the subjects were almost similar to what I've studied in CA, except for management and economics. But as I always said, the confidence is what matters. I mean, if at all I had to study my entire CA syllabus again, it would not be cooked, it would not be ready-made, right? I had to, source down the sources, I have to cut down the options, I have to see what is relevant to the syllabus. So I had to do this one extra task. So I thought, why not I shell out some money and why not EduTap make this job for me? So I have paid the fees, and you were there because you were already, you have studied the notification very detailed. You were already into the business for past few years, and you know what type of questions need to be prepared and what type of material needs to be studied. So since I was getting all the things ready made, I thought instead of me working hard more, I mean, as I was already working at my office, so I had to work, and then after my office hours, I had to read something. So I thought EduTap was the best option.
And while you were preparing for this exam, this was a very long journey. You might have your own ups and downs, right? At times you feel low, that we are putting too much effort, we are risking too many things, and what if the result is not in favor? So did that thought came into your mind or come into your mind, and how did you manage to handle it?
It is definitely, sir, because even I'm a human, I feel my ups and lows because the journey. I've seen the notification in April, but I never took the exam seriously. In October, I guess the dates were finally out. That is on January 17th, they would be conducting this examination. In October, I thought I would be serious, and then I started to read EduTap's material. And again, sometimes I feel maybe why don't I continue my CA and practice again? I just take out a paper, I just list down my pros and cons, and I also remember why I needed this job, because I had a very strong reason to get this job, to have a job, to have a job, and especially at a place like SEBI, which is a stock exchange regulator, and my passion has always been finance and stock markets. So every piece had fallen into place for me, and seeing that notification, I consider myself as lucky to see that notification. So whenever I was low, I only think these 2 points. First of all, why had I started my preparation, and second of all, would I live happily if I had not read this examination? And these two things, okay, I'll just open my books and again I'll start reading.
And one very interesting point you made while we were discussing before the interview regarding your journey, that when you cleared this exam, I mean, many people were telling you that no, you're lucky. But
Yes.
your view is bit contrary to that. Can you explain that? Can you just bit explain on that, because that's a really good view, and that should help people understand that it's not your luck, rather it's more of your hard work that pays off.
Definitely, sir. There is this one quotation called "Luck favors the brave," or this thing. I mean, unless and until we put the hard efforts, we put the hard work, the 0.01 marks of luck wouldn't, it wouldn't help me out to clear this SEBI examination, because see, sir, as I said, the 69.23 marks which I have got was not my luck. It was my hard work. I may or may not agree when people call those 0.01 marks as luck, but I would definitely call the luckiest part, as I said, was me seeing the notification. That was lucky. I was lucky enough to see the notification, and yeah, that's it. Apart from that, all other things was my hard work, I guess. Not only my hard work, my parents, my friends, my girlfriends, everyone's hard work. So uh, my whole journey to become a SEBI officer was definitely not luck. That's it.
Yeah, that's really good. I also believe the same, that it's your hard work. Yes, luck plays an important role, but ultimately I think it was your bad luck that you missed the cutoff by 0.01, rather it was your luck that you got an offer letter from SEBI. Now,
Maybe because also, sir, maybe because if the cutoff itself was 16.23, no one would have called this as luck.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Since this journey has happened, since this huge journey has happened from
Mm.
this missing out and getting in, that's what bothers people a lot. That's it.
But I think that is good for you, because somewhere down the line you will give more importance to this job. This job will be
Yes,
more closer to your heart, and maybe you will be able to perform better in the job as compared to others
yes, yes,
who were
definitely.
able to see their name in the initial list itself.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I think that's a blessing in disguise for you.
Definitely, sir. Yes.
Saket, three things which you think makes you stand where you are today.
So definitely consistency.
Hmm.
As you know, this journey has been very long.
Hmm.
Consistency, by consistency, I don't mean that I studied every day, every hour.
Hmm.
I had my days where I was done. I used to hang out with my friends. I used to go party, and I
Hmm.
used to go party so hard
Hmm.
that I would fear inside that, okay, no, I'm partying too much. I should go back to study.
Hmm.
So I would again. So this one consistency had kept me motivated. And again, as I said, the hunger in me, because this was my last attempt. This was my first and last attempt, and I had a particular reason for me to get into this particular job.
Hmm.
And I have not targeted any other examination, RBI, UPSC, nothing. I only thought, if at all I'm writing any one government examination, that would be SEBI, and luckily I've happened to see that notification and have written. So my first point is consistency. My second point is pure target. I mean, this would be opposing view to what you might preach. Actually, I'm sorry for this, because and generally I would not advise this to people, because if at all they're missing SEBI, they can aim for NABARD. If at all they're missing for RBI, they can aim for SEBI. But for me, I'm a type of person. If at all, I'll aim for only one thing, and I would make sure I would be hell bent on achieving it. That's it. And right now, I'm lucky enough to, or I'm fortunate enough to achieve it. So these two I would say that the points which make me stand apart: consistency and focus.
Focus, you mean focus on that particular target with
Particular target.
one exam only in your
Yeah.
city.
A particular target, not only with exam but also to the day targets. If at all I'm hell-bent on completing finance today, I would, no matter what time it is, I would complete it that day. That's it.
Hmm.
And if at all I have any extra time, I would just go out, play something, but I would finish my targets for that particular day. Focus.
That's good. So Saket, regarding your preparation strategy, so in phase one there was paper one and paper two. Paper two was common to phase two also. So
Yes.
how did you divide your time between phase one, paper one, and paper two? Because paper one was qualifying,
Yes.
and especially the CAs are not comfortable in paper one, quant, reasoning, and English. So what was your strategy in that area?
Yes, sir. So regarding my planning and strategy, I strictly went by the notification. I believed what was there in the notification, and the one common thing in three phases was my technical paper, that is paper two. So my paper two's preparation, I've started from the day one of my preparation,
Hmm.
and for paper one of phase one, I was very picky and choosy. because I consider myself as very weak in general awareness, and as I said, studying for general awareness is not my cup of tea because I don't feel I don't have the memory to remember all the things, or there is the worst names and the states where they're located in and all. So I was very choosy in that thing, and I thought instead of reading the general awareness thing, general awareness papers, I would spend the same time in doing my content reasoning, because I feel I feel I could put more efforts because I obviously love maths. Since I said I love maths, I would put more efforts into it and I would score about 30. About that would be manageable, I thought. And English, I was way overconfident, but it has actually paid me because that was, it was very hard. I would talk about it when I tell in script English. So this was my strategy. And even in the examination also, as I said, I have not even attempted a single general awareness question because, as I said, I always believed in what was there in the notification. There was no sectional cutoff. We need to get only 30 marks. So I thought I will prepare very hard for 50 marks and I would score 30 out of those 50, and I managed to score some 44 or something. I don't exactly remember. Yeah, that's
So
how.
when you say you did not attempt any question in GA,
Yes,
does it really mean that you attempted zero question in GA?
I have not even read a single question in GA.
Okay.
I
But
didn't even read. I didn't even read a single question. I straight away jumped to quant. I did quant. I did reasoning, and then English I tried to attempt. That's it.
okay.
Reasoning I didn't even attempt. I didn't. Sorry. General I didn't even read. Not leave alone attempting. I didn't even read the questions.
That's very strange, but that's
Yeah.
really good. I mean, that really shows that no, if you are focused on your strategy and rather worrying about the strategy of other people,
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
and you can clear this exam.
Yes.
That's really good to know. And now coming on to paper two, Saket. So when did you started a serious preparation for paper two? How much time did you devote?
Sir, paper one, phase one, I started in December, but
Hmm.
paper two of the both phases I started in on January 1st. I still remember you have called me on December 29th or 20th. I don't remember exactly, saying that I was selected into some SEBI top 100, and that at that point of time I was very serious. Okay, I have to crack it anyway. So yeah, from January 1st onwards, I was very much serious into my paper two preparation. Paper two preparation. Yes.
So from January 1st till I think your phase one was on January
Jan
27th.
17
Okay.
days.
So for 27 days, you studied the whole of the course in those 27 to 30 days.
Not even 27, sir. 17 days to be precise. But as I said, being a CA, I had some advantage.
Hmm.
This strategy I would definitely not suggest to any person. As I say, see, sir, I always believe that any strategy should be tailor-made. Even if any person who is watching this video should take only the inputs what is required for him. That's it. And if at all he's taking anything, he should take what I made, what mistakes I have made. You should remember this, and you should not make those. But any strategy should be tailor-made. This particular strategy, what I'm telling, is definitely fits only me, because, as I said, I was very choosy in paper one phase one, and also paper two phase one was not, as you all know, it was not predictable, right? Because the questions were very weird. I thought that even if I had not prepared and even I have written the exam also, I would have scored some decent marks, at least above 40. May not be in 80s, but at least above 40, I thought. Yeah. But for paper two, phase two, again, I had to do from the scratch.
Fine. So basically, but it's all about say 30 days wholehearted preparation
Yes,
for paper two, with which you were able to manage your exam.
yes, yes,
Okay.
definitely.
And did you study these subjects in any particular sequence, or it was like all random?
No, sir, no particular sequence, but I love accounts, finance, any subject which involves numbers
Hmm.
fascinates me.
Hmm.
So I've completed accounts, costing, finance,
Hmm.
and I had this trouble with management. I've even called you regarding management. You used to say that it was very simple subject, but I couldn't understand. Not understand, but I couldn't, I couldn't take the time to remember all those theories, because there were n number of theories. So even while attempting mock tests also, and ended up 6 mock tests, I had given those 6 mock tests. In the first mock test, I used to not even attempt a single management question, because I know that I have not read that management topic, and if at all I'm marking something, then that would be a pure guess. So I didn't want it to have that to happen. And despite me not marking management questions also, I used to score decent rank. So that had given me confidence. And as I said, costing I've completed first, finance I've completed, accounts I've completed, and what law was also. It was not exactly easy. There was much stuff to remember in it, but I was again choosy. Penalties. I have never read in my whole life. Even in my CA, I have never read even single penalty, because I always thought if at all in my CA exam they had asked any penalty, it would hardly carry 2.5 marks to 5 marks. And anyway, I don't aim to get 100 marks, so I was this choosy from the beginning. And even in this examination, if at all they're asking any penalty, it would hardly cost you 2 marks. So I wouldn't want to waste my memory for 2 marks. So I have not even touched my penalties. So I just went to the concepts about this independent directors and this dividends, books of accounts, all these things. And the last last importance what I have given is for economics, which is new to me, and management, which is also new to me. These two I had given least importance, but still I had managed to at least know the basic questions and answers. I have just read the PDFs of EduTap, and I've just solved those few tests which are given at the end of the chapter. That's it. But extensive preparation I've done for these first 4 subjects. That was very extensive from my side.
That's good. I think right from the start, you were very focused on what needs to be done, what needs to be avoided. You took your risks. It's
Yes.
like Sehwag selecting that this bowler I have to hit, and
Yes.
even if he balls a good ball, he will hit.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was the conviction you were having
Yes.
inside you, and I think that basically paid off. Again, as he says, you might not be following his strategy, but try to get some positives out of it. At least try to get some confidence, and try to make your own tailored strategy. That is what I would like to tell all the viewers. Do not try to aim your target the same way as he did. Try to make your own strategy, customize that. That is very, very important. Saket, now there is a very important thing that I want to discuss, that many of the people from non-commerce background, they are generally fearful that that syllabus is CA specific, they will not be able to clear. You are a CA, I mean, for CAs also it's not easy anyways,
Yes.
right? Because it's a competitive exam. But a lot of non-CAs or non-commerce candidates have been able to clear it. I think there are around 30 plus engineers out of 80 who has been able to clear this exam.
Yes. Yes.
And you might have met some, you might have interacted with some. Now, what is your view on this whole thing? Is it possible for a non-CA, non-commerce candidate to clear this exam? To some extent, I can say yes, because some people have cleared. But overall, what do you feel in a longer-term perspective? Whether it is really possible for a non-commerce student to compete and clear this exam, and if yes, why? What is your logic behind that?
Yes, sir. Sir, definitely, it's a very common sense thing, because for any person, for any non-CA or non-commerce background person, if at all he gets this question, or if at all he gets this doubt in his mind, he has to do only 2 things. First, open the notification. Is there an eligibility for engineer? If yes, then point 1 pass. Second question, just check the previous year results. Were there any non-commerce background people have cleared the exam? If yes, then pass. That's it. So if his answer is yes for these 2 questions, then he has got the answer.
That's a very good, very smart answer, Saket. I think that's why you got some really good marks in the interview. I'll come to that later. So he has pointed very logically. See the notification, you are eligible. SEBI wants people from various streams to come in and join us. That is their agenda. And then previous year selections, you see in 2018, I think 2018 was a game changer. A lot of engineers cleared this exam, and that's why SEBI thought, yeah, at least have some CAs or commerce people, and they changed the syllabus. But that doesn't mean they don't want engineers. A lot of engineers clear this exam every year. So I think that rather than saying that whether we can make it as an engineer, you should ask it whether I can make it with my kind of aptitude. That is the more relevant question you should ask, rather than tagging it to your degree. Okay. Now, Saket, my next question is that when you study too many things, a lot of subjects, a lot of concepts, then a lot of rectification also, memory-based things. What is the importance of revision? and when a guy like you prepare in 30 days, did you plan for revision at all, or is it like, okay, everything is recent in my mind, just 30 days old? So what was your strategy?
Sir, again, as I said, I can't remember many things for a lot of time. I'm very poor in memory. I only catch with the concepts. I only go with the logic. So for a guy like me, especially who has who has weak memory and who has lesser time for I mean, when you say the 30 days, I mean, if at all I have like 30 days to plan for my examination, I would definitely not count the last 5 days, because last 5 days are meant to revise. I would consider only I have 25 days, and on the 25th day I would just stop what all I have read, and from the 26th to 30th day I would only revise what all I know. That's it. I would definitely not go to the news sources. I would definitely not open Telegram. I would definitely not open or not bother what others are reading, because that would only bother me, nothing else, right? Especially in the last few days. If at all, if it's a first 1 week of your preparation, definitely explore. You have multiple sources. You have multiple people. Different people would be reading different things. One guy would come. He would say this article from today's Hindu business line. One guy would come. This PDF from so and so content provider. You can go. You can do all these things in the first 10. I mean, in the first phase of your preparation. But in the last 5 days, only read what you know. Only revise what you know. That's it. Don't even try to explore anything, because it would cause sense of fear in you. And if you have fear, you would lose confidence. And if you lose confidence, you would not be able to mark the correct answer what you already know. So yeah, that's it.
So that's a very good advice. Divide your time when you explore, but ultimately at the end it should be revision. Saket, next question is regarding the numerical.
Yes.
Now numerical are again very vast. I mean, when I was teaching myself also, I could see in costing there were big numericals. I mean, which even I would have taken at least one day to understand such big numericals. But that was not the call of the paper. Generally, it was assumed that in the paper there would be no numerical because 40 minutes, 50 questions. But I think SEBI was smart in phase two. They tested that only real people could clear this exam. So there was some numerical in the exam. I think around 11 questions.
Yes.
Now the point is that it is clear that they will not hesitate to ask numerical even if the paper is 40 minutes and 50 questions are there. But the point is to what extent one should go for numerical. Now you have seen that paper, you would have seen the difficulty level of the numerical. What is your view? Should one go all out for doing all the numericals that are given in the books, or one should be selective by doing certain numericals he or she can clear the exam?
Yes, sir. So before answering your question, first of all, let's understand what exactly a numerical is. Because me being a CA, numericals are, Black-Scholes models, etc. There are like a hell lot of numericals in CA, and also from engineers background, because I see engineering maths, how it is. They are actually called numericals, right? But the questions what SEBI has asked in the examination were not specifically numericals. They were only concept based. If you know the concept plus some numbers, that's it. If you know what is A plus B whole square, if you know the full form, just substitute some numbers and you would get the answer, right? So I would definitely not want to call it as a numerical per se, because they were not numerical. Because sir, again, as I believe, the paper has not done justice to the syllabus what they have said. Because if at all they wanted to ask a specific hard numerical, they would have asked some Black-Scholes model. It's very hard for us to even remember the Black-Scholes model formula. I don't even remember now. I have to Google it right now. So I call them as numericals. But the numericals what they've asked in examination can be very easily solved by when you know the concepts. When you're clear in the concepts, they are just asking the same concept with some numbers. So that's it. So I don't find there would be any need to worry regarding some numericals, be it be a commerce person or a non-commerce person.
But the idea is that numericals are related to the concept. So when you do theory, I think some theory is incomplete without numerical.
Exactly.
So you need to understand those kind of numericals, have some basic idea about the formula, and I think that should be enough.
Yes, sir. See, to be precise, if you're reading finance and if you're reading futures pricing or options pricing, futures pricing itself is a theory how the formula has been arrived, right? And you have if you're asking a person to read up to that formula, and if you're not asking him to complete the problem, then it's injustice to the topic. If you're reading futures pricing, you have to understand the concept, and you also have to practice one or two problems. That's it.
Exactly.
It's an integrated thing.
It's an integrated thing. Very right. Very right. Now, coming on to the importance of MCQ Cycle. Now, syllabus is used. Sometimes we read a lot of things when we feel that we are prepared, but suddenly when we give an MCQ test, we get very low marks. So that becomes a kind of eye opener. So in your opinion, I mean, are MCQs important? That is my first part. And if MCQs are important, how should one plan to attempt MCQs? Right after every chapter or after completing the syllabus, then concentrate on MCQs? What is your thought on that?
Sir, I always believe if you go and go and appear for an examination, if you have prepared for 100 questions, definitely the one or first question would be asked in the examination. So my point always was, why not write this one or first question at some mock place, right? Either EduTap or some other place. If you are familiar with the 101, 102, 103 also, then in that examination, that one or first would not be a surprise for you. You understand, right? So definitely MCQs. See. And when I compare EduTap's MCQs with the actual exam MCQs, EduTap's MCQs were way higher. I mean, because it was needed, because you are actually preparing the students to face in all aspects. I mean, we never know how the examination paper would be. And EduTap's MCQs, I have given EduTap's MCQs also. As I said, I used to write every quiz after each and every topic. I used to write them, and whenever I attempt the quiz, I would always, as you said, I would always think that okay, this concept I was thinking wrong until this time, and when I had marked the wrong answer, I would have thought, got a different perspective. Okay, maybe this would have been done like this also, or any particular question which I had a feeling that it's very easy for me. I mean, I can crack it off like this. But when I actually attempt that particular quiz, when I attempt that particular question, and if it's taking for me 3 to 4 minutes, again that's a pain point. Okay, I should try to complete it in within 1 minute. So to understand these two things, that is to open a new perspective, and to also see, though I know the concept, am I able to do it within a lesser span of time? So to understand these two concepts, definitely solving MCQs is important. And as I said, EduTap's MCQs were I consider them to be a level higher than what IBPS has said. I feel this.
Yeah, that was intentional, because we always wanted you guys to prepare for the worst, right? And even after, I remember, even after when phase one paper two was held, people were like, what the hell? Why are you putting these set of MCQs? And my answer was always like that. You cannot expect what is in the actual exam even in phase two. And I think that's where the difference was made. People who were not serious about paper two, thinking that it would be of the same level as what is asked in phase one, I think they were just torn apart in the first few minutes of the paper itself. So that is one message I would also like to give. When you prepare for a competitive exam, do not assume too many things. It's good to see previous year papers. It's good to see the trends, but they should not be, made as some hard line that only I'll follow this line. You follow that line, but then try to do some things more so that you can adapt to the exam in case they go away from the line that you have drawn. Okay. Saket, my next question is regarding the mock test, which is again related to MCQs. Now, giving MCQs is a bit easy. After every chapter, you can give MCQs. But then mock test is on a different line. The whole syllabus is there. Some people, they hesitate to give mock test. That they always think that let me first revise, then I'll give mock test, because otherwise I'll lose confidence. So what was your strategy? Did you give any mock test at all, because your preparation time was very less? And if yes, at what point in time you think that giving mock test should be okay?
So after my paper, after my phase one, I have actually opened my Excel sheet and I have listed down some 8 to 10 sources from where I should be taking my mock test. And I thought I would be starting with EduTap, because I have also purchased your 5,000 MCQs course. And to be honest, I have not even completed it. That's again separate thing. So I thought I'll start with the chapter and questions. Because why I said this chapter and questions were, because I would clearly understand, instead of directly jumping into a mock test, I would, if at all I go chapter by chapter, I would understand which chapter I'm weak in and which chapter I'm strong in. So the weak chapters questions I can practice in 2-3 days before the main examination. So this was my strategy. And while doing this itself had took me so much time. So I only focused on EduTap's chapter and quizzes, and I was very much serious in the all India tests, which we have conducted 6 tests, right? All India tests. I was very much serious into that, because, as I said, it's not the knowledge what I know, but it's the standing where I'm at. That really matters me, because I might know 100 things according to me, but if I'm getting a 97th rank, that's of no use. So I had to balance both. At one side I was gaining knowledge, and at the other side also competing. And as I said, in the 6th mock test also, until the 4th or 5th mock test, I had not completed my syllabus. Because in the first mock test I had not attempted economics, I had not attempted management, and I had to gradually study. I used to even clearly prepare my timetable. That is, until 20th I'll study economics, and 21st would be the mock test, wherein I had to complete. I mean, in that mock test, management, so not management, accounts and other topics, and including economics. So this is how I prepared. And definitely for any person, I would suggest mock test. But again, too much of mock test is of no use, because you would be only use it to that question and answer. Because obviously the questions and answers would be repeating in either not only yours but also other content providers mock test. But you should, if at all you are spending 1 minute of time in writing your question, you should definitely spend 5 minutes of time in analyzing why why you have, why did you make it wrong? I mean, because you have already studied that particular chapter, and yet you're and yet you're marking the wrong answer. You should analyze the reason for at least 5 minutes. Because if you do this, if you spend this 5 minutes immediately after each and every question after the mock exam, then definitely you don't have to spend any much time for that particular chapter or for that particular subject. So, yeah. So
That's good.
my only strategy was limited number of mock tests and more amount of knowledge. That would be sufficient.
That's really great. And Saket, now coming on to your descriptive English paper, now Saket told me that there was a fiasco in his descriptive English paper since the interface was really bad and it was his first attempt at regulatory body or any competitive exam. He was not used to that interface and he could not attempt Prezi at all. So that was a bit shocker for me, and I hope you guys also would be shocked to listen to that he didn't attempt Prezi at all in his actual exam of SEBI, but still he managed to clear. His score in English is not that he got some good marks. It was just 51. But I think he made it up by getting good marks in paper 2, which was around 77, 78. And he also got some really good marks in interview, which was around 12. Right. So, Saket, what happened in your descriptive English paper? And were you hopeful even after that attempt? I know you were hopeful. You called me that I didn't attempt Prezi. And literally, Saket, when you called me, I was really kind of pissed off at that time. That Saket, how could you not attempt a Prezi at all? At least you could have written something, and out of 10, they might have given you 4. But were you really hopeful after that? I know you were. So what was the reason behind that? You missed. Prezi was around 30 marks.
30 marks, yes.
So you missed. You not missed. I mean, you just completely left it blank, the 30 marks paper, and still you were hopeful that I would make it. So what was the reason behind that? First of all, tell me. I know first your nature being hopeful helped you that, but what was your real logic, the calculations?
So there's no rocket science in it. I was way too overconfident on my English from the day one. I thought it could be, I can manage it off. Okay. But when I was writing my paper 1 phase 1, and when I had to read the reading comprehension in an actual exam on January 17, I thought that, okay, I'm weak in reading because I was taking so much of time in reading. And then after immediately January 17th evening, I thought I should practice from some 10 essays, some 10 RCs and all. I thought, but again, I was also, I saw the notification. Okay, 1/3 English, 2/3 technical paper. I thought, okay, even if I lose 3 marks in English, if at all I gain 2 marks in the other examination, I would be, I can make it off. I thought. So I was calculated, but again, it was not calculation purely, but it was also overconfidence from my side. I should agree. It was overconfidence. And sir, I would definitely not blame the user interface, because when others have had completed the examination, and if I'm the only one who had not completed, then I cannot even blame the user interface. It was same for everyone, right? So I think it's purely my overconfidence. And even for essay, I had not prepared much. I had actually, exactly 2 days prior to this examination, I had called one of guy in Telegram. His name was Ronit. I don't even know who he was. Just called him up randomly and said the verse, I'm having trouble in English. Please help me out since you have cleared NABARD. And he has scored some good marks, I guess, in English. He just told me some tricks. He just told me start with RC, next essay. And I thought, okay, I can make it up. And then the actual examination, I started to type RC. And then once it was done, and when I have checked my clock, only 30 minutes were left. That is, I have took 30 minutes to type my RC. And then I was hopeless. I started my essay. By the time I have finished my essay, 5 minutes were left. I've just put the heading for Prezi. Some behavior. I don't even remember what I put. I was so panicked because it was my first examination, and in the hall, everyone were like randomly typing everything. I was frightened. I don't know, sir. I mean, but I was over cautious actually in the essay and in the RC, whatever I have typed. I was cautious regarding my spelling mistakes, punctuation marks. Maybe even this would have costed me time. So yeah.
But I think you got some really good marks, 50 out of 70. I mean, that's good. I mean, if you would have attempted Prezi, but yes, it's all ifs and
Yes.
Because if you have attempted Prezi, then you would not have written your comprehension essay so good. But I think 50 out of 70 is good. I think at least you got some bonus marks, I would say, for giving more time or for attempting it with greater attention.
Yes.
I still can't believe personally that you didn't impress you and
Yes,
you're
again, it's a disclaimer because I really do not want any particular person to take this as a
an
as a
example.
example. Is definitely not, because I knew my strengths, I knew my weaknesses. These were my weaknesses, and I had to accept it. And I had put double efforts on my strengths. So if a person, if at all he wants to learn something out of this whole video, he should only see what mistakes I have made, and he should definitely not repeat those mistakes.
Exactly.
Definitely, for descriptive English, it might appear that it is very easy, but no, you have to work hard. You have to type at least 10 to 20 essays. You have to give a few mock tests and all for descriptive English.
And Saket, do let me know something about your interview. That is the last part of discussion which is left. Uh, so, how was your interview?
So my interview was, I mean, for me, my interview was very conversational. It was fantastic for me because not that I have scored 12 marks out of 15, but the experience what I had felt. Because I still remember the day after my interview, I was very happy
Hmm.
because of the conversation what I had with the senior officials, and
Hmm.
also the definitely one more reason was the my hard work was over. I mean, not hard work, my efforts were over. Like I can be relaxed at least. I thought so. These two were my exact expressions on that particular day, and
Hmm.
so there was no particular strategy for me towards interview. And as I said, I was very weak in general awareness. I just took out an Excel sheet and I started to write. Actually, I have watched a video of some person. I don't remember his name, of some senior in EduTap. He has given his strategy, and he has mentioned that he has prepared 5 different heads,
Yeah.
like one particular head for questions for HR based, one for profile based, one for technical based, one for security market based. So I had followed that concept.
Hmm.
I had opened the 5 different Excel sheets, and and for almost for 2 to 3 days I just kept on typing different questions,
Hmm.
what all can be posted to me.
Hmm.
Okay, like I used to literally practice my HR questions.
Hmm.
But 3 4 days down the line, I thought, okay, practicing HR questions is not making sense because
Hmm.
maybe they over there they would not ask the same questions. So I thought the only two keys would be spontaneity and confidence.
Hmm.
So if I just, okay, tell me about yourself. Okay, my name is so and so, so and so, so and so. If I just practice this a lot of times, it would make me appear as a robo. It would not have a personal touch. It would just appear to the interview panel that I had crammed even an interview. In a
Hmm.
HR question also is cramming, which is not me per se. So I just didn't want that to happen. And I was very casual in my interview also.
Hmm.
So this one thing, but I had worked hard on my technicalities.
Hmm.
And again, one more point to mention, I don't have this habit of reading a newspaper, which would be a shocker again. I don't read newspapers, but I
Hmm.
definitely follow news. That is, I go by keywords. If at all there's any new news item, for example, swing pricing in mutual fund, anything, I would just take out that keyword. I would just search Google News, and I would read every article from any particular website.
Hmm.
And I happened to take some these things, some subscriptions from Mint and XYZ papers,
Hmm.
not to read those papers, but to read those articles.
Hmm.
Because for I have actually thought, in somewhere in December 16th or somewhere around that point of time, I have actually subscribed to newspaper,
Hmm.
and I just kept piling them. I thought I'll read, and then there were 7 papers,
Hmm.
and my father used to come and scold, "Why are you even buying if you're not reading?" And then I just stopped it. I thought, okay, just reading a newspaper is not my cup of tea. I have my phone, I have my tablet, I have my laptop. I will read whatever I can in my laptop. That would be fine. So I just Google some keyword, and I would do some research in and around why that particular incident has happened, or before that, after that, what can be done. I would just pose myself a question as if I was in an interview.
Hmm.
This has really helped me a lot because in my actual interview, one interview panel person has actually conversed with me around 5 minutes straight. So we were so deep into conversation that the other person had to interrupt to ask me another question.
Hmm.
So we had this discussion regarding SEBI's skin in the game, regarding Franklin Templeton mutual funds. So we were so deep into a discussion that even he has forgot. I mean, I don't know if he has forgot. He wouldn't have definitely forgot, but I have forgot it as an interview. I was very casual. I was just kept on talking to him the way how I'm talking to you right now. So
Hmm.
the other sir had to interrupt and he had to ask me another question. So that was it. And also, sir, again, as I said, I always believe, because interview is definitely not in interview, they would definitely not ask you how much you know, how much extra do you know, because
Hmm.
they've already tested you in phase 1, they have tested you in phase 2. If you're 240 among some 90,000 candidates, definitely would have got some knowledge. Definitely maybe you would have been there by luck,
Hmm.
but definitely not purely luck, right? You would have some knowledge. So I believe, it's my opinion, I believe that they're interviewing the people over there to see how they're reacting to circumstances, how their character is, how strong they are, how confident they are, how are they, defending themselves. I thought, I would be strong on technicalities and I would be spontaneous over there. That's it. And I always believed in this one mantra wherein I have this one Brahmastra called I don't know. If at all they're asking me any question which I really don't know, I would just tell them I don't know, because there's no rule that everyone should know everything, right? And also I always believe that SEBI is not hiring expert people. SEBI just want assistant managers and they're ready to train people, and SEBI would want the basic graduates also, right? So that's what I believed in. Yeah, that's it.
That's a really good, and I liked your mantra. I don't know, and the logic behind that. Everybody is not expected to know everything. Even the interviewers, they are not expected to know everything, right? So don't be afraid of saying no. And when you say no, be confident. I see a lot of people when they want to say no, they are like, they will not. They will just wait for 30, 40 seconds, and after that they will say, that creates a really bad impression. Be confident. Say, sir, I'm not aware of this. Maybe I missed this news, or maybe, sir, I need to read this. This seems to be something interesting. You can add that one line to show your interest toward that things that has been asked to you. Right. So please follow this. Even I think that even if you answer 60% of the questions, but answer them correctly, coherently, comprehensively, honestly, that is more than sufficient. And they will never keep asking you questions on the same domain which you don't know. If right at the start, suppose if they ask you, do you know technical analysis? If you say no, he will not ask you about candle chart patterns, right? He will say that, okay, forget about technical analysis. Let's move to something else. So that's a very good point that has been made by Saket. So please follow that thing. It's very important. Many of you get nervous during your interviews, which you should not. So Saket, it was really nice talking to you. I think, and a very candid interview, I would say. Nothing. I would say, that again you have to cram, as in that I would speak this, I would speak that during your interview. That's it from my part. Anything, any message that you would like to give to our viewers before we sign off?
Sir, definitely not a message, but I would just want to tell people out there. I mean, not to people who want to aim for the rank one, but definitely, I just want to take myself as a classic example, because, as I said, this was my last attempt. Okay, and I mean, I'm not a ranker CA. I'm not a first attempter CA. I've not done my articles in Big Four. I've not had any reputed companies experience. I have a very normal profile. Despite a CA, I'm a very normal chartered accountant. Okay, but still, I have believed that I would crack this particular examination. I just had this hope from the T1. And also, after these 18 days from July 2nd to July 19th, in those 18 days also I had to learn so much, because I was very low. As I said, I was very low, and I could see, I had almost cried like 4 days straight. I could see my parents, and then again I had taken the courage out, and I had actually gone to a actual job interview. Life happens. Everyone, I could see my colleagues, who have cleared the CA at the age of 23, which is very good, very good from their side. I'm not here to give message to them, but I want to give a message to people who are 29, 30, because I would be turning 30 next year. Okay, so even now we have still chance. We can still crack it. Just the only thing is that just pack everything, just go all in. That's it. Just go all in. Have a proper planning and give you 100%. Then definitely luck will favor you. That's it.
Beautiful message. And guys, I think Saket should be an inspiration to all of you. Right, he has his hardships during his CA. He has to work to support his family and himself. It took more than required years for him to complete CA. Then he was really reaching his age limit with respect to his eligibility for competitive exams. He still appeared almost as his last attempt. Then long process. He stuck to it, read it, fought it there. Final list came. His name was not there initially. Still, he was hopeful. Finally made it, and he's here with us giving the interview. Saket, it's a very nice journey. I think a biopic can be made on it, if at all. Biopics are made on ordinary humans, I would say, rather than superheroes only. So it was really nice talking to you once again, and I wish you best of luck for your career in SEBI. And I wish to meet you sometime personally
Sure.
when the situation improves. And I hope you will meet me in the SEBI office sometime when I'm in Mumbai.
Definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. Before signing off, I would just want to thank my mother, father, my relatives, my friends, and my girlfriend. Because without them, I wouldn't have made it to here. So thank you so much, sir.
Welcome, Saket. Bye bye. Have a nice
Bye.
day.
Thanks. Bye.